Hey y'all, this is Systemshark again, bringing to you another audio commentary for WCReplays.com. This audio commentary copyrighted 2006 WCReplays.com, so don't go stealing it. Alright guys, got a new treat for you guys today. I'm steering clear from my Avg-Joe series to bring you a regular game with some, averagely pro players here. Today this game is going to feature an Orc vs nightelf game with BerA.WeRRa and VorteX Davin. So it's on Twisted Meadows. While I'm talking, you guys can get the replay synced up at the 1 minute and 30 second mark at 1x speed. And I'm looking at BerA.WeRRa's point of view, the Orc, and keep Fog of War on. Something I want to notate on the early game scouting here. Today I'm doing something a little bit new. I like to try doing something new with all my audio commentaries. So this time I got one of our WCR members, one of the just the regular patrons, just like you guys, to send me a little 5-minute audio clip of some things that he noticed in this replay. And my friend from Greece, his name is SamwiseGamgee. He posts a lot on the forums. He's always leaving comments on everyone's audio commentaries and things like that. So he sent me a little 5-minute audio clip of some things that he noticed in the replay, and I'm going to see if I can mix those in with my audio commentary. Just kind of mix it in and get everyone involved and together. So here's a little intro from SamwiseGamgee.
Hello everyone, this is SamwiseGamgee, adding some comments about an audio commentary from Systemshark for WCReplays.com.
Yeah, so I'm just testing this out. Hopefully it works out good, but thank you, Samwise, for sending me these audio clips, and let's see if it works out really good. I'm going to try twisting them in at key points that I've been trying to figure out after watching the replay many times. This is really going to be a cool replay. I think you guys will like it. It's something new that you don't. It's not the standard Orc versus Night Elf, so it's going to be something new. Maybe you guys can try twisting it in with your games. It's actually the point of all these audio commentaries is that you guys learn something and maybe try to improve your game or try something new to keep the game interesting for you. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get this game unpaused in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alrighty, I'm unpaused. Now 1 minute and 30 seconds. Samwise actually made a good note early game here, and you'll take note of this Orc peon that's going out here. Samwise takes a note and says that scouting is really bad.
First of all, Orc executed his early scouting very bad. He didn't scout the up base in time.
Yeah, what he means by that is the Orc peon that he just sent out actually just missed seeing the Night Elf base. You can turn Fog of War off right now. You see that the Night Elf base is right there, right after the peon just barely scouted the top portion of it. And this is, this is really bad for BerA.WeRRa early on because he's going to see that he's just going to opt to use his Blade Master for harassment, and this is going to delay his harassment and potential creeping time too. Since he didn't think the Night Elf player was going to be in that southeastern position, he's going to go to the northwestern, and he's also sending that same scouting peon to the northeastern position. And when he sees that there's creeps at Gulf Gold Mine, he realizes that he must have missed it on that southeastern position, and he's going to run down there as fast as he can to start harassing. However, if you noticed Davin's VorteX Davin, the Night Elf player's building placement, he has all his wood wisps really well protected by his moon wells and his altar and all his construction buildings. They're really protecting that tree line. So it's going to be hard for an Orc player to get in there and harass his wisps. So if you're a Night Elf player, this is a little tip if you want to use your buildings to protect your wisps. If you don't already do that, it's a pretty common tactic nowadays, but the only place that's really open is really far back in his base behind his gold mine, and for the Orc player to go all the way back there is a bit of a risky move. So Orc player's bringing in his starter grunts and his Blade Master in to try to harass the wisps, but he's going to realize that they're really well protected, and he's going to abandon this pretty quickly. Demon Hunter intercepted actually one of the grunts that was on the way, and Demon Hunter was going to go to the Orc base to try to do a little bit of harassment by himself, but decides to come back and try to defend against this early game Blade Master grunt production. Both players at this point, you don't want to let your tier 1, your first entry level units or whatever, to take too much damage. You don't want them to get hit very much early game, so you want to try to move them back and not let your opponent, just freely hit these things. At this point in the game, the early stage, you want to be able to creep and get some kind of advantage early game, and you want to be trying to multitask and try to get your opponent to stop doing that. You notice the Blade Master just went up to the Goblin Merchant shop and bought a Dust of Appearance, noticing it's almost nighttime, or it is nighttime right now. He's expecting the Night Elf player to start using hide on his huntresses to avoid getting them killed. So he's bringing out more grunts. He's got his Blade Master coming back to try to focus fire a little bit on these hunts who the Blade Master or the Demon Hunter and the hunts were actually able to take out that level 3 null for the Blade Master, and he wasn't able to get the experience for it. So he knows the hunts are hiding there, and he's going to try to finish off this level 1 null here. The hunts break hiding position, and he immediately starts focus firing on one of them to start getting him low. As soon as he hides again, he's going to start casting his Dust of Appearance on his Blade Master, so he gets the last hit on the creep, and he's also going to be trying to kill these huntresses here. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot, guys. Wow, it's been a little while since I've done these. Been out of town for a little while, just now getting settled back in. Cool thing that this Night Elf player is doing that, if you're a Night Elf player and you don't do this, notice Dust of Appearance actually stays on your units for a little while. So he waits until it fades and he's running his units away, and then he hides again, forcing the Orc player to use that other Dust of Appearance, wasting it essentially on these 2 early hunts, forcing him to have to maybe buy more if he wants to continue revealing these hidden units. Now huntresses at this point are about the same speed as the Blade Master. However, the Blade Master does have boots of speed, and if you want to, you could run and hit, waste a lot of time trying to kill that one huntress. The Night Elf player is doing a good job of keeping them alive, moving them back. Again, both players not wanting to lose their low-level, low-tier units here. Samwise has got a comment about Dust of Appearance too. He wants to talk about it.
The Elf player should have bought a Dust of Appearance to avoid any creep-jacking or harassment from the Blade Master.
So yeah, he's saying the same thing goes for the Elf player. The Elf player should also be getting a Dust of Appearance to kind of stop any type of harassment from the Blade Master, or also try to gank the Blade Master if he ever is low and sticking around in a fight. Right now the Elf player hits tier 2 immediately. He's bringing his Beast Master that he hired from the tavern, and Quill Beast and whatever huntresses he has to try to put some pressure on the Orc base. However, aware the Orc player is actually doing a weird strategy and isn't building the tier 2 building way out in front. You notice the Spirit Lodge is going up, but it's way in the back. He's also fortified his base defenses, thinking that he's going to have to put up with some type of Night Elf push on his base at this point in the game. He's got 3 towers up in really good positioning, protected by the barracks and his Voodoo Lounge out front like that. It's definitely going to be hard for a Night Elf player to actually do a lot of harassment there. So Blade Master sticking around, trying to creepjack there. He just got a creepjack on the level 5 null there and was able to steal that experience and got him level 2. He, however, had to get sucked into a mana burn, which isn't so good, but worth definitely to kill that creep there. Always trying to keep tabs on your opponent. One other thing to notice about the Orc player's build is he hasn't gotten so many early grunts. He's only gotten 2 grunts so far, and only getting 2 grunts actually gives him a lot of extra gold to be able to buy items, keeping his Blade Master full health and mana. He's also able to tech a lot faster. He's now building his 2nd Spirit Lodge, and he's went for a really fast tech to tier 3. He's about 75% of the way to tier 3 at the moment, and he's starting to build Spirit Walkers. Now, Spirit Walkers are a good counter to the dot strategy that not a lot of Night Elf players like to do. But as soon as the Orc decides to scout a little bit more with his grunts and his Blade Master, he's going to notice that dots aren't going to be his main concern. He's going to start seeing that hippogriffs are coming out, and he decides to go for a different type of strategy, maybe a risky strategy, but definitely knows he's going to have to go up something non-standard, so he decides to change it up a little bit more. The Spirit Walkers are definitely a really good counter, as I was saying, to the Druids of the Talon for Spirit Link, and he's actually researching the adept training for them right now to go for Disenchant. And actually he's going to be researching the Master as soon as that's done, so he can get the Res Torn as he's building a Torn Totem. Definitely going for some tier 3, really fast tier 3 meat, faster than the Night Elf player is going to be able to get any counters to that. In this game you actually see that the Night Elf player does get some nice counters to Torn, but you'll see how the Orc player uses his tier 3 tech advantage to help him achieve some victories in this game, actually achieve some victories in the little battles that they have. So we tried to put a little pressure on the Night Elf base by killing the Ancient of Wind. Only got it down to half. Didn't do a lot, but he was able to draw the Night Elf player from creeping and draw him back out. Puts a lot of pressure on the Beastmaster now, who's only level 1, doesn't have a Scroll of Town Portal or any potion invulnerability. Definitely a good target to be harassing. However, at this point, it's going to be really hard for the Orc player to put any, final clutching pressure on the Night Elf player because he doesn't really have an army yet. He's building all his tier buildings. It's a really fast tech. He's outnumbered in the food counts here by just a little bit, and he doesn't have a secondary hero at this point, so it's a little bit risky for him. You also noticed in this game when he goes for it, I'll point it out, he goes for a very strange secondary hero choice. And I'll let you know when he builds it, and you'll see it when he comes out. But really weird for Orc to go this hero as a secondary hero. Again, Orc player keeping tabs on the Night Elf player while he's creeping. Doesn't want to let him creep freely, and he's trying to stay involved and try to not try to take out any heroes that might be low. He's putting a lot of pressure on the Demon Hunter. Not necessarily the best target. Demon Hunter's got a Potion of Healing and a Scroll of Town Portal, so he's going to definitely be able to get away if he needs to. However, so does the Blade Master, so he's going to be able to get away if he wants to. Just had to pop a Scroll of Speed to run away. He ran out of mana, so he wasn't able to Windwalk due to the mana burn. So he had to pop that Scroll of Speed and get out of there. Now he's got a Rejuve to continue his scouting right there and harassment. So the Night Elf player, again, seeing that the Taurens were going to be a part of the equation when he came in there to do that little push just a little while ago, the Elf player now opting for Chimeras. The Chimera Roost is just completed. Chimeras are definitely a good counter to Taurens, and I'll let Samwise tell you why that is.
The switch to Chimeras was very correct, because Chimeras did tend to all Taurens.
Exactly. Very clear and concise point. Everyone knows that. The Chimeras actually do extra damage to Taurens, and they'll actually do extra damage to the Taurens in... well, they do a lot of damage anyway, but they do damage to the Spirit Walkers as well. Really good damage. They take extra from Piercing and Siege, so when, if ever the Night Elf player decides to upgrade the Chimeras to the Siege attacks, I believe that takes effect on units. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check that. Someone prove me wrong. If the Siege attack is upgraded on the Chimeras, does it actually affect unarmored units, or does it still stay with the lightning magic damage? If it stays with the magic damage and the Spirit Walker is in the ethereal form, then the ethereal form will take extra damage. Should actually go down in almost one hit from a Chimera in ethereal form. So now that the Orc player's got his Taurens, he's able to creep almost every... He can probably creep actually every creep spot on this map, except for the river ones with the dragons. Really, really easily. He also, since he opted for that fast tech to tier 3, he was able to put an Orb of Lightning on his Blade Master, which getting that on your Blade Master early on is just really, really insane. Having that chance to purge and slow a target and also be able to hit air units, which he's going to be up against, really helps him out a lot. You notice how he uses his positioning later on too. Just take note on how he positions his Blade Master and which units he decides to attack with his Blade Master. So now he's going to go in for another little hit. He's got one Tauren out, actually two Taurens out now. He's got and some Spirit Walkers. He's not really going in for any decisive pushes. He just needs, again, keeping tabs on his opponent. There's a lot of hit and run, back and forth moving here. Demon Hunter actually had an invisibility potion and is kind of pulling a little Blade Master move here by keeping tabs on where the Orc player is at and also trying to get better positioning on it. The Hawk from the Beastmaster was able to see the Blade Master invisible, so now Windwalk loses that little portion of effectiveness. Right now, Blade Master caught this Chimera coming out of his base, so he's going to try to get some extra hits on it. I'll hold on, the phone's ringing. I'm going to go turn that off real quick. Good old mom's been calling me a lot lately. Anyway, where was I? Blade Master using his Orb of Lightning almost got that Chimera down to half health. And he's bringing the rest of his army to try to fortify what could be a really decisive interaction here. The Night Elf player actually uses Staff of Preservation really, really well. A lot of the players that have been sending me replays for critiquing, a lot of them are actually Night Elf players, and they're not using the Staffs of Preservation. And I actually see Davin's using it on both of his heroes to double the effectiveness, basically. Oh, jeez, how important is this phone call? There. I silenced it. We won't have to worry about that anymore. Another cool thing I want to point out in this replay that I probably happened a little bit earlier, but since I've been trying to stop my phone from ringing, got to miss it there. These Hippogriffs are actually really, really good scouts. You see him, he just has them sit on patrol on the both entrances, basically, of the Orc base. So he's going to be able to see if the Orc player is creeping, or he leaves his base at any time, or actually if he comes back and he's weak. So those Hippogriff scouts are definitely a good idea. I'm telling people all the time to use air units like that, maybe a bat for an Orc player, or any just quick air unit that you can get out, maybe a Dragonhawk or something, over the trees near your opponent's base can prove to be a very effective scout, especially when you don't have a lot of anti-air. So in order to counter the Chimeras now, or Chimeras, however you say it, the Orc player is going Wyverns and Ares, making a switch. You notice he did